Hello friends. Now our next topic is the law of tort. We need to understand what do you mean by the tort. First of all, we do not have any act regarding the tort. Whenever you read any type of law, we have particular enactment of the government. But as regard the law of tort, we do not have any act. So it is governed by the common law. So start with the definition. What do you mean by the tort? So because we do not have the act, that's why the another act defines the tort. If you refer the Limitation Act, so Limitation Act says that tort means a civil wrong which is not exclusively the breach of contract or breach of trust. So first of all, this is a civil wrong. So it is not a crime. So you need to differentiate what is civil wrong and what is crime. So what is not crime is tort. So this is a civil wrong, firstly. Secondly, this is not breach of contract. If you have done a contract of sale of goods or whatsoever, and if you breach that contract, this is not tort. If you breach the trust, it is not tort. So tort is a civil wrong. It is a very simple thing. Tort is a civil wrong. So this is our definition. What do you mean by tort? So sometimes it may be difficult to differentiate between the crime and the tort. Civil wrong means wrong done to any person. Whenever a person murders another person, it is crime. Although it is personal thing, but it is crime and not the tort. So anything which is civil wrong is a tort. So this is our first thing. What do you mean by the tort? So tort is a civil wrong. Now we move to the next thing. How to create the liability of the tort? If you suffer from the tort, what are the conditions that you can sue against that suffering? So we have three things. So in the common law, three conditions are specified to determine whether tort is conducted or not. So condition number one is the wrongful act. There must be some or other wrongful act. What is wrongful act, what is not, we will define it later. So first thing is the wrongful act. Second thing is that wrongful act must result in the legal damage. So only wrongful act is not sufficient, there must be a damage. And thirdly, it should be such of the nature as to give rise to the liability. So there should be a legal remedy, there should be legal liability. So these are the three things. Wrongful act firstly, legal damage is the second thing, and legal remedy is the third thing. If these three things are proved, then you can sue under the law of tort. Now we shall go into the detail and we should define what do you mean by firstly the wrongful act. Wrongful act, it is a very simple English word, something wrong. Kuch na kuch galat hua hai. So what has been the wrong? So it should not be crime as we seen in the definition itself. So what is wrong? It should be a civil wrong. Take a very simple example. If you harm reputation of a person, this is a wrongful act, but it is not a crime. If there is a person who is trespassing into your premise, it may not be crime, but it is tort. So there should be some or other wrongful act. This chapter gives a list of the wrongful act. We will discuss it later. So first thing is the wrongful act, kuch na kuch galat hona chahiye. Second thing, this is very important thing, legal damage. You have suffered the damage. Aapko nuksan hua. Now, if you have suffered damage, it does not mean that you have right to sue. Sometime you may have suffered damage, but still you cannot sue. So now you need to read it very carefully, that when you have suffered damage and when you can sue. Not all the time you have suffered damage you can sue. No, it is not always. So thing is that when you can sue if you have suffered damage. So in the Latin word we have two maxims given over here. First maxim is damnum sine injuria. You need to read it very carefully, damnum sine injuria, and the another maxim is injuria sine damnum. These two maxims have been asked many times in exams. So you have to read it very carefully. What does it mean? So first of all, damnum sine injuria. Damnum means harm. You have suffered damage. Damnum means damage. Damage of what? Damage of money, damage of effort, damage of comfort, whatsoever. So damnum means harm. Injuria means infringement of your right. Damage does not necessarily means injury of the or infringement of the right. So now what the whole maxim, the damnum sine injuria means, so this maxim says a man may have suffered damage but still cannot sue. आपको नुकसान हुआ, आप केस नहीं कर सकते. So when this maxim applies, you need to understand. I will give you a simple example along with the case law. So there is a very famous case law, Gloucester Grammar School case. What happened in this case? Take an example. In a particular locality, I have a medical shop. In that locality, there is no other medical shop. तो मेरा उस particular locality में monopoly हुआ. So all the person in that locality comes to buy to my shop to purchase the medicine. Now आपने ये देखा and exactly opposite to my shop आपने अपना medical shop खोला. So what happened? Public आपके पास आएगी, ठीक है, आधी पब्लिक मेरे पास आएगी. तो I have suffered loss, मेरा सेल कम हुआ because of your shop. Can I sue? Answer is no, because this is also your legal right. आप भी अपना बिजनेस कर सकते हैं. What is wrong in that? So thing is that I have suffered damage. मुझे मेरा सेल का नुकसान हुआ, मुझे मेरा पैसे का नुकसान हुआ, बट स्टिल आई कैनॉट स्यू. दिस इज द टोटल मीनिंग ऑफ damnum sine injuria. You need to remember the case law, Gloucester Grammar School case. Now the another maxim is injuria sine damnum. As we know, injuria means infringement of right, damnum means damage. Now you may not have suffered damage. आपको नुकसान शायद नहीं होगा, पैसे का नुकसान नहीं हुआ होगा, आपको कंफर्ट का नुकसान नहीं हुआ होगा, स्टिल यू कैन स्यू because this is your legal right. Take an example, you are shareholder of a company or you are director of a company. There was a meeting of the company of which notice was not sent to you. In that meeting, all the decisions taken were according to your judgment. आप जो चाहते थे exactly वही decision लिए गए. So practically देखा जाए तो आपने यदि मीटिंग अटेंड नहीं किया, so there was no loss. आपको कोई भी लॉस नहीं हुआ. But the thing is that you did not receive the notice of the meeting. आपको वो मीटिंग अटेंड करने का नोटिस क्यों नहीं मिला? बिकॉज इट वॉज योर लीगल राइट. यू मस्ट हैव रिसीव दैट नोटिस. यदि आपको वो नोटिस नहीं मिला, यू कैन स्यू. You have not suffered any damage, still you can sue because you have not got the notice. So this is a very simple example. If you are a shareholder of a company, you are director of the company, you must receive a notice. So this is the thing, injuria sine damnum. So we have read these two things. Damnum sine injuria, you have suffered loss, but still you cannot sue. Injuria sine damnum, you may have not suffered the loss, but still you can sue.